Greenland was on the table during his last year in office, and he's been very clear for a long time about how Greenland is a strategic national security asset that he wants the United States to own. Now, we've heard the argument today and throughout the week as this has popped back up as a strategic operation the president wants to do, either by buying it from Denmark or maybe through other force if there's not some kind of agreement. But the truth is that in NATO, they've been saying, well, what is the United States going to go against NATO? The question for me is, the United States has been paying for NATO overwhelmingly for years and years and years. They have not paid their fair share. The president has been trying to pull them up to 5%, while other presidents allowed them to pay less than 2%. We've been defending NATO. Did they think that that was a free ride, that we were never going to cash the check in on what we deserve and what we've been paying for? So now that the president looks at Greenland and says, look, someone's going to take over Greenland. It can be the United States of America, China, or Russia. Who do you want it to be? Because you're asking us to pay for the defense of Greenland, but you're also not still paying your fair share. So I see it as a compensation for the last couple of years, many decades, of the United States paying far too much for NATO.
Hold on.
And then in return, we get Greenland.
All right, let me think about it for a second. I hear you. NATO was set up for us to pay the majority because we were the strongest at the time. But you are right that many other countries got away with paying less than they were supposed to over time. Fine.
After they signed a contract saying they would pay 2%, and they didn't.
True, but it was always set up to be lopsided and have us be stronger because we were richer and more powerful. But be that as it may, the compensation for us pulling more than our weight, let's say, is Greenland.
Yeah, why not?
Well, because it makes us look like exactly what we oppose. If Russia said we had been given enough to Scandinavia for a long time in oil, we want Greenland, we'd go nuts.
Yeah, but comparing Russia and the United States in this circumstance is apples and oranges. I mean, the way that the United States treats the world, the way that we do defend NATO, the way that we've been working with NATO to crush Russia because of the weapons we've been sending them. They're buying weapons now. The president going to NATO earlier this year, talking about how you need to pay 5% for your own defense. It was a tough love situation. It's not the same thing to compare the United States to Russia in terms of the goals there and the assets and the way that business would be done. It's similar to Venezuela in the sense that, well, Russia has been there trying to steal the oil for many, many years.
True.
It's better to have the United States there with private companies who do fair and just business in an ethical way, rather than having the Russians and the Chinese in an area like that to exploit the country, rather than having it be a legitimate place to do business.
I agree with what's wrong, but you got to make it right also. And I don't see us as the same as Russia unless you act like them, right? So it's one thing if you want to have private concerns, be able to safely operate in Venezuela, which has not been true up until now. It's another thing to say you want to run it. It's another thing to say you want American boots on the ground to secure the oil. Now, that's the kind of things that Russia would say, not America. That's why there's concerns about how you do this. And if you say we want Greenland, it should be ours. Denmark's not going to like that.
Well, they certainly don't like it, but the question again is, okay, well, Denmark wants the United States, with their military, to continue to defend Greenland from Russia, which has been circling the Arctic for years and years now, looking for holes and ways to exploit the resources there. China, of course, I was at a conference in Finland years ago with the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, at the Near Arctic Conference. China was there saying that they were a near Arctic country. They're not an Arctic country. They're not even a near Arctic country. They are there trying to secure resources, and the United States is behind. So the President of the United States is looking at the world, which changes, and is saying, we would like to offer money for Greenland, a place that we're already protecting with our military, a place that we've already protected with our funding through NATO, and we want to buy it from you. Let's talk about it.
Buy is different.
What is Denmark doing with it?
Buy is different if they want to do a transaction.
Which is what they have offered.
Can you give me, and well, no, that's what, America has offered after when he was saying he was going to take it and sent his son over there.
His first term that we could come up with an agreement where we pay for it.
But they said no. But let's say, forget about the offer, forget about it. Right, maybe it is, maybe it is. Can you give me a precedent of where America has gotten another country because they had been protecting it before that?
Another country or another part of a country? Because we bought Alaska from Russia.
Greenland is a country and part of
We bought Alaska from Russia. We bought Louisiana from the French.
Yes.
So those are two very good examples.
Right.
Florida, I mean, there's lots of examples where we have purchased property that was part of another country for the sake of expanding the United States and national security and to gain additional natural resources for our country.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.